Well, the authorities began searching again here in Satsuma, Florida, because they wanted to cover some old ground. But the latest information is actually coming from the mouths of babes, in that Haleigh's brother has told his mother, Crystal Sheffield, that he saw and heard someone come into their home. What has Junior told you about what happened that night?
The first Friday I got him, I didn't ask him nothing. He just hugged my neck and said, "I want to find my sissy," and a black man dressed in black took her.
What did you ask him?
Yesterday I asked him if he was sleeping, and he said yes, and then he said no, because when he said he was sleeping, I said, "How do you know who took him?" He said, "Because he had squeaky shoes," and he said that's what woke him up.
There's also been reports that Misty was not at the house. What did he tell you about that?
He said she was there, but if he was sleeping, he really don't know if she was there or not. So when he woke up, she was there. That's all he knows. Did you go back to sleep, Bubba? Did you go back to sleep after the man took Sissy, or did you stay awake? Was you awake? No. But you heard the squeaky shoes? Sissy didn't wake up when he took her? No?
No one told him to say that?
Did anybody tell you to say that? No.
When you hear that this man in black, a black man dressed in black, went into the house and took your daughter, his sister, while he was in bed, does anyone come to mind?
I don't know. All I can think is a drug dealer.
How do you know about Ron's background in terms of being with drug dealers, associating with drug dealers?
Because I was with him since I was 14 and I was there.
We learned from someone who works closely with the police that there was a woman who came forward and stated that she had seen Misty that night out partying, doing some drugs, some very strong drugs. The drug that was mentioned to him was Oxycontin. Had you been exposed to this drug?
I have done Oxycontin myself.
When?
When I was with Ronald. It messes you up really bad, makes you really drowsy. She probably would have been passed out.
So you think it's entirely possible that Misty was in the house when your daughter was abducted and your son could have actually seen the perpetrator?
It is possible.
Craig, first of all, you know, a kid testimony can always be influenced by whoever talks to the kid, certainly if the dad had talked to him. But be that as it may, I don't remember seeing any black people in that area at all. If he indeed is saying a black man in black outfit, it may be a kid's nightmare, but, you know, in a certain case, in a certain culture. But I don't remember, where would a black man come from?
Well, like you said, it could be his imagination. It could also be a person with a mask. But according to Crystal, Ron Cummings does have friends who are African American. She says, like most of his friends, they're associated with the drug scene. And she fears that Ron's lifestyle could have exposed her children to this situation.
Craig, stand by. Kimberly Guilfoyle, former prosecutor, Arthur Dallacrack, defense attorney, our Crime Time and Primetime panel join me. You know, I believe that it's all about drugs, and it's all about who was with these two, Misty and Ron Sr., in the 72, 96 hours prior to Haleigh going missing.
Absolutely.
If she's stoned all weekend long, partying all weekend long, sexing or whatever with whomsoever, isn't it likely that that's where it comes from?
Because common sense and the facts and evidence support that conclusion that you're drawing. Okay, who else would have known exactly the habits, the pattern of the family, the fact that the father was going to be at his work and not getting off till the middle of the night, also to know his little girlfriend, Misty, and what she was up to. That culture, it shows right, that's the people who had the opportunity, the access, the information to, you know, perpetrate this crime.
And I tell you, he was stoned when I interviewed him. I'm sorry. You can, I regret that I have to say disparaging things about the mourning father of a missing child, but I think that guy knows more than certainly he told us.
I think you're right.
But Arthur, you know, a black man in that area would have stuck out like a proverbial sore thumb.
And you don't want to be, we have to be very careful what we say here. But when you talk about drug dealers and people who are not from that community, but from outside of that community, why would they be there for drugs? this guy, Dad, is a shady character. I'll say it, Geraldo. You don't need to say it. I'll say it. He's the kind of guy who may rip someone off, may take money from him, may do something bad to their wives, and this may be a revenge thing about the father. And what's really telling about the interview we just saw is maybe the girlfriend there was so drugged up, and someone knew she was so drugged up on Oxycontin, they walked right in, right under her nose, took this kid out. That father should be put under the spotlights and interrogated for days and find out everyone he knows.
But Craig, is it not a fact that both Ron Sr. and Misty Crosland were re-interviewed this past week?
They were re-interviewed, and it's about 4 or 5 times that they've been re-interviewed by the police, and they've also apparently undergone several polygraph tests as well as DNA tests. Crystal Sheffield also had a DNA test done on her.
To see who the parent really, I don't get that. To see if Crystal's really the mother, or she gave birth, that Ron's really the father?
Well, she didn't know what it was. You know, she thought possibly if, God forbid, they do find the child's remains, they would match it up with her.
I hear. Okay. Let me go to our next Crime Time.